High atop a 100-meter signal tower, a boy sits silently. The rescue team below pleads, but he won't budge. Soon, his father, Martin, rushes in, coaxing him down with a phone. The team's frustrated. This is the third time the boys climbed the tower, always at 3:18. What's he after? Martin's exhausted. His son, Jake, has autism, hasn't spoken in 10 years, and won't let anyone touch him, leaving Martin at wit's end. On the way home, Martin stops for gas, envying kids laughing on a bus. Turning back, Jake's gone. Panicked, Martin finds him scribbling by the bus's tail, route number 318. At a convenience store, Jake snatches a lottery ticket from a man named Randall, bolts to the car, locks himself in, and jots down numbers. Martin bangs on the window, yelling, but Jake only returns the ticket after finishing. Randall, furious, curses and punches Martin before storming off. That night, Randall pins the ticket to his wall. For 10 years, he's bought the same numbers, never winning. Meanwhile, Jake arranges phones in a circle before bed. As Martin moves to turn off the light, the phones ring, all from one number, matching Randall's lottery ticket. The next morning, Martin's stunned. Jake's numbers hit the jackpot. A welfare worker, Clea, visits to assess Jake's condition and Martin's income. Considering placing Jake in care, Martin refuses, insisting Jake can predict the future. He's climbed the tower 3 times, always at 3:18. 2 weeks ago, he set every clock in the house to that time. He shows Clea numbers Jake wrote, but she thinks Martin's delusional from stress, pushing to take Jake away. Saying goodbye, Martin tries to pat Jake's head, but Jake pulls back, leaving Martin heartbroken. After Jake's taken, Martin visits his wife's grave, spotting a badge with 318. Following the clue, he finds a prophecy association. The man at the door, Arthur, doesn't look like a seer. Martin starts to leave, but Arthur stops him. Your son climbs signal towers, doesn't he? Come inside. At the welfare home, Jake arranges popcorn into a number, Clea's mom's phone number. Her phone rings. It's her mom. Jake circles March 18th on a calendar, 3/18 again. Arthur tells Martin, Jake isn't mute by choice. He sees everything, past, present, future, and how the world connects. He doesn't predict the future, he sees a map of fate. Your job is to follow it, Arthur says. Inspired, Martin reviews Jake's old notes, finding a phone number. He calls, but no one answers. Tracking its location, he's interrupted by Clea, who says it's March 18th. Martin realizes Jake's hinting at something happening at 3:18. With 22 minutes left, they race to a crowded train station with dozens of payphones. Martin dials the number. A nearby booth rings, but Randall's using it. As time ticks down, Martin begs Randall to let him use the phone, but Randall recognizes him, and they fight. In the chaos, 3:18 passes. Martin misses the call. Randall misses his train. The next morning, Martin gets a voicemail from Randall. For 10 years, Randall's been haunted by failing to save Martin's wife in an accident. Now rich from the lottery, he'll donate to make amends. A TV report shocks Martin. Randall, a retired firefighter, saved 25 kids on bus 318 after missing his train. Martin realizes Jake foresaw it all, using numbers to link events. He rushes to the welfare home, but Clea says Jake's gone. That night, Jake's back on the tower. Martin, conquering his fear of heights, climbs up, pouring his heart out. For the first time, Jake hugs him, grabs Martin's phone, dials a new number, and writes another in his hand. Following the number, Martin reaches a shop. The owner, Arnie, says, I'm ready. Suddenly, a gunman bursts in. Martin hits the floor, but Arnie taunts the robber, revealing a gun under the counter. The robber snaps. Martin tackles him, and Arnie's shot but survives. Oddly, Arnie berates Martin for ruining his plan. Confused, Martin visits Arthur. Clea calls. Jake's missing again. She explains, while playing, Jake's hands got paint covered. She stepped away for a wipe, and he vanished, leaving 5,296 on paper. Clea used the code to unlock a door, but Jake was gone on the busy street. Martin, frantic, spots Jake across the road, boarding a bus. He chases, but Jake won't get off. With no choice, Martin joins him. The bus stops, and Jake gets off. Martin follows, noticing Jake pause at Arnie's shop. The phone number on the window ends in 5297, but Jake's number was 5,296. Martin dials 5296. A phone rings upstairs. They knock, but no one answers. Martin picks the lock. Inside, Jake grabs a baseball bat marked 5,296 and sets it by the sofa. The homeowner returns, a burly guy who attacks Martin. Outmatched, Martin's knocked down but grabs the bat, clocks the guy, and flees with Jake. In a taxi, Jake hands Martin a pill bottle. Realizing its meaning, Martin directs the driver to the hospital. At the hospital, Arnie's not there. Martin thinks they've hit a dead end, but Jake stares out a window. Following his gaze, Martin sees Arnie climbing over a bridge railing, ready to jump. Arnie's dying of cancer and staged the robbery with a neighbor for insurance money to leave his estranged daughter. Martin's interference ruined it, pushing Arnie to despair. Martin pulls him back from the edge. A dog runs up, followed by a flight attendant, Arnie's daughter, Martin's co-worker. That morning, Martin, an airport baggage handler, took luggage from her. A dog escaped. She chased it to the bridge, and found her dad about to end it all. Thanks to Jake's numbers, Martin saves Arnie, reconnecting father and daughter. Their journey continues. At the cemetery, Martin and Jake visit his wife's grave. A man, face full of grief, sits there, claiming to be her friend. Jake suddenly runs off with his kite. Martin chases, saying, "I met Mom's friend. He left, but we could catch him. What do you think?" Jake stares at a notebook on the ground, scribbled with 9.5. Martin checks his phone. It's 9:50. Jake lets the kite fly, chasing it. Martin follows through the cemetery, across streets, to an apartment complex. There's no room 95, but Jake stops at room 65, refusing to leave. Two kids kick a soccer ball in the hall, knocking the 6 upside down into a 9. The door opens. It's Bobby, the man from the cemetery. Stunned, he thinks Martin's stalking him. "I was just your wife's friend. How'd you find me?" He demands they leave before his wife returns. Jake darts inside, staring at a photo labeled "Happy Birthday, Sarah," his mother's name. Bobby explains, he was an uneducated truck driver until Sarah mentored him, transforming his life. He named his daughter Sarah in her memory but lives with guilt for not saving her during 9/11 out of cowardice. Bobby's wife returns, cutting them off. Jake hides in the bedroom, spotting his kite stuck on the balcony. He climbs to the floor above to retrieve it, despite Martin's fear of heights. In the upstairs apartment, a man emails his friend instructions for installing speakers. Jake's kite snags the antenna, disrupting the signal. The man's wife opens the window, startled by Jake, and falls. Her husband helps her up, accidentally hitting the keyboard, changing the email's voltage from 50 to 950 volts. The friend misreads it, sets the voltage to 950, and sparks a fire. The blaze's light helps rescuers find an injured soldier, saving his life. Jake reaches for the kite, slips, and falls. Bobby catches him. Though he couldn't save Sarah, he saves her son, redeeming his past. For 10 years, Martin's dreamed of Jake laughing on a swing, embracing him, something impossible in reality. Waking to Jake's cold distance, Martin feels the stain. Martin meets Arthur, showing him Jake's numbers from the past month. Arthur asks him to read them aloud. Halfway through, Arthur finishes the sequence, revealing it's not random but a pattern. 10 years ago, Arthur sensed this sequence, linking people and events. His version has 3 extra numbers, 975. He predicts they'll trigger something big and wants to meet Jake, but the welfare home restricts visitors. Arthur poses as a doctor to enter the home. Jake's drawing 975, as if expecting him, then adds a 6. Arthur follows the clue to room 6, but it's empty. Hearing a noise down the hall, he sees someone in a wheelchair and shouts, "Amelia!" A manager appears, accuses him of bad intentions, and threatens to call the police. Arthur leaves. Meanwhile, Clea gets a hospital call. Her schizophrenic mother is acting out again. Clea tries to calm her, but her mother rants about needing to care for a child and flees. Clea alerts the police and runs into Martin. They see a news report about a kidnapped child. Clea wonders if her mother meant this child. They search everywhere but find nothing. Clea recalls her childhood home, now slated for demolition. Ignoring workers' protests, they barge in and find her mother, who doesn't recognize Clea and threatens her with a knife. Clea patiently recounts fond memories, calming her. Her mother says she found a lost boy, took him to a park, but he coughed badly. She went for medicine, and he vanished. Martin races to the park, where the scene mirrors his dream. Same trees, same swing. He finds the boy in the woods, opens his arms like a father.
"It's all right, sweetheart. Don't be afraid. Do you want me to take you home? Come here. Oh. There you go. It's all right. You're safe."
Holding the boy feels like the embrace he's longed for with Jake. After returning the boy home, Martin heads to the welfare home, finding a crowd in the parking garage. Arthur's dead there. Security footage shows Arthur leaving something for Jake before exiting the welfare home. 10 minutes later, he's found dead in the parking garage. Martin cautiously asks Jake what Arthur gave him. Jake, silent, arranges playing cards. A key engraved with 1188 sits on a card, matching Jake's hand. 1188. Martin's uneasy.
It's a dead man's hand.
What?
It's a poker thing. The aces represent ones, aces and eights. It was the last hand that Wild Bill Hickok was holding before he was shot.
So tell her left this as a clue.
A roadmap. A roadmap, right, Jake?
To investigate, Martin visits Arthur's home. His daughter says the key unlocks a basement at a street corner, not the house. Martin rushes there, but the key doesn't work. A man peeks out. Who are you? Martin replies, Arthur's friend. The man demands $1,000 to enter. Reluctantly, Martin pays, only to find a gambling den. He plays a few hands, probing for info on Arthur. A woman, Celeste, knew him.
You another math guy?
Sort of.
If you're playing those numbers of his, they never work.
What numbers?
His sequence, he always bets on cards in some crazy number sequence.
Martin realizes Arthur tested his visions through gambling. Celeste mentions Logan, another number researcher with Arthur. Before Martin can dig deeper, Clea calls. Jake's wealthy aunt is at the welfare home, seeking custody, claiming she can provide better care. Martin refuses to give up. He asks Jake, but the boy's doing math, working on a test coded 1188, created by Logan. Martin races to Logan's apartment, finding him unconscious. He calls an ambulance, but it's delayed. Checking Logan's phone, Martin sees a recent call ending in 1188. He dials it, follows instructions to inject Logan with medicine, and revives him. Logan admits using Arthur's numbers to win big at the casino, where he met Celeste. His winning streak got him banned, and fearing for Celeste, he cut contact. Logan reveals Celeste is held by the casino boss. He asks Martin to help win a bet to free her, promising to reveal Arthur's secret lab in return. With little money, they hit the casino. Logan coaches Martin, but he keeps losing. In the final hand, Martin draws a 1 and an 8. On Logan's signal, he goes all in. They win big, free Celeste, and locate Arthur's lab, but its secrets remain hidden. On a bustling street, Martin bumps into a woman, spilling her bag. He apologizes, helping her pick up items, but Jake slips her phone into Martin's pocket and walks off. It's no accident, Jake's orchestrating a meeting. Earlier, Martin and Jake joined a welfare home tech museum tour. As they got off the bus, Jake bolted into the crowd. Chasing him, Martin collided with the woman. Afterward, Jake became cooperative, following Martin into the museum. A large screen displays a live feed from another country. Jake approaches, touching the screen where a girl, Veronique, places her hand, an unprecedented act for him. The feed switches, showing a man who scares Jake, causing him to collapse in fear. Clea switches it back. Veronique's gone, but a nearby couple is on a call. Martin begs the girl to have her boyfriend call Veronique back. Jake calms when she reappears, but Veronique notices the woman Martin bumped into, there to retrieve her phone. Veronique tries to talk, but the woman panics.
I'm sorry. This can't be happening. I'm so sorry.
It'll just happen.
She says she thinks that was her mother. But her mother died 21 years ago.
Veronique explains, her mother died after her birth, leaving only a photo. She believes the woman is her mother, sharing the same mole. Martin doubts such a coincidence, but Jake's look changes his mind. He chases the woman, but she's gone. Turning back, Jake nearly gets hit by a taxi. The driver checks on him as a man jumps in. Martin tracks the woman to a hotel where she works. Jake runs to the second floor, playing cat's cradle in the hall. A staff member, identical to Veronique, asks where his parents are. Martin approaches, stunned.
I think I met your sister, your twin sister.
Sorry, I'm an only child. I was born in India and I moved here before I was 1.
Please, just call your mother. Her name's Simran, right?
How do you know my mother's name?
She lost her cell phone. I found it. She called me from this hotel.
Martin mentions the phone, urging her to meet Veronique at the museum. On the screen, the women see each other, instantly knowing they're sisters. 21 years ago, Simran gave birth to twins in India. A doctor lied, saying only one survived, and sold the other. The doctor continued trafficking kids, even soliciting on taxis. A driver, realizing the truth, tried to turn him in, but he escaped. Martin asks Jake for clues, but he just plays cat's cradle. When Martin grabs his phone, coins spill out. A woman helps pick them up, bumping into the doctor, Knox. Martin confronts him.
Dr. Knox.
I know you.
No, but I know you.
Police arrest Knox. Soon after, Veronique arrives in the U.S., reuniting with her family after 21 years. Jake grows closer to Martin. Suddenly, Jake tosses a glass orb onto the street, shattering a police car's windshield. The officer smiles, wagging a finger in warning. Martin's sweating bullets. Jake never gives him a moment's peace. They head to the police station to pay for the glass orb incident. While Martin signs paperwork, Jake watches an officer enter a coded room. He rolls the orb to jam the door open. When Martin turns back, Jake's inside the evidence room. Afraid to make a scene, Martin follows. Jake spills water on the floor and hides. An officer pushing a cart slips, scattering files. Jake scribbles 2217. Martin grabs the file marked 2217, uncovering chilling secrets. Earlier, Martin found Arthur's secret lab. Clea arrived first, meeting Avram, Arthur's partner. Avram revealed Arthur worked for a tech company, studying Amelia, a girl with extraordinary intelligence who discovered the Amelia sequence. The greedy company pushed Arthur to intensify experiments, damaging Amelia's brain, leaving her unstable. Arthur was fired for the failure. Clea recognized Amelia as the girl in room 6 at the welfare home, sensing something off. One day, Clea left work early and saw the director guiding Jake in a game. A voice from the computer said,
"Have him do it again.
Are you sure?
Just have him do it again."
The director quickly shut it off when Clea entered, raising her suspicions. After lunch, Clea told Jake, "Someone's watching your tests." Jake glanced at the director's computer, then used his tablet to distract everyone. Clea accessed the director's computer, shocked to find the welfare home was a front for the tech company, continuing experiments from Amelia to Jake. Clea warned Martin. The company was studying Jake's predictive abilities. Martin planned to flee with Jake, but Jake had his own ideas. He led Martin to the police station to steal Amelia's files. Martin and Clea studied them, noticing timeline discrepancies. They concluded Amelia was alive. Martin found Amelia's death report, missing autopsy photos, confirming she wasn't dead. At Arthur's lab, with Avram's help, Martin watched a video of Amelia's experiment. She spoke, mentioning an appendectomy at 6. Martin checked the autopsy report. The body had an appendix weighing 3.3 grams, contradicting her claim. Someone else was buried. Martin meant to tell Clea, but was ambushed, knocked out, and robbed of the files. He woke in a train tunnel, hearing an approaching train. Panicked, he tried escape doors, all locked. At the last second, he forced one open, narrowly surviving. Martin confronted Abigail, his sister-in-law and tech company shareholder, suspecting her involvement. She denied it, saying she only wanted to care for Jake in her sister's place, not harm him. Martin demanded to see Jake, but the director had secretly gained custody, filing for an emergency hearing to strip Martin's rights. Abigail protested, "You can't hold a hearing without family." The director smirked. Everyone necessary agreed, including Clea. Martin was stunned. Clea had betrayed him. As Jake was taken, Martin lost it, screaming for his son.
Jake! You can't stop me from seeing my son! I haven't done anything wrong! Jake!
The welfare home called, allowing Martin one last visit before Jake's transfer. Martin bought a gun from Arnie but forgot bullets. At the home, he drew the gun to take Jake, but the boy wasn't Jake. Clea had switched him. She whispered, "Jake's at home." Martin rushed back, finding an empty house, only a phone with Jake's clue, 4370. He knew it was his wife's birthday. They visited her grave to say goodbye, then headed to a bus station, aiming for Los Angeles, linked to 4370. Welfare home staff caught up. Martin brandished the gun, but a pursuer calmly said, "I bet it's not loaded." He tackled Martin, stole the gun, and pulled the trigger. Empty. Martin grabbed a brick, knocked him out, and fled with Jake. Jake darted into traffic, stopping a car driven by Randall, the firefighter. Randall helped them escape. Martin mentioned Randall's voicemail. Randall realized they were the family he'd avoided for years. He gave Martin his car. "Get your boy to Los Angeles." The father and son traveled, stopping and starting, toward a Ferris wheel, a new life ahead. Jake took his biggest step yet. In a bakery, a man enters, plays music, ignoring everyone. The owner pauses, eyeing him. No connection, just conflict. The man pulls a gun, slashing the owner's aorta. He collapses, dead. Like Jake, the owner saw the world's connections. The killer, with a twisted gift, steals powers by murder. As the owner dies, Jake senses something. Martin and Jake head to Los Angeles, meeting Lucy, Emilia's mother, convinced her daughter's alive. Lucy's been following clues nationwide. Coincidentally, her next stop is Los Angeles. Martin confirms Emilia's alive, but his evidence was stolen. Eager to find her daughter, Lucy sets off. Jake stops her, handing over a notebook scribbled with 2s and 4s. Martin pinpoints a location from the numbers, and they rush to it. Jake leads the way to a motel. Martin knocks on room 2D. A man peers out, sizing them up. Lucy thinks they've got the wrong place. No sign of Emilia. Then a girl's scream comes from inside. Lucy charges, but the man locks the door. Martin kicks it open, but the man and girl are gone. As Martin starts to chase, an accomplice knocks him down. Lucy wants to call the police, but Martin warns, "Our only proof is Emilia's alive. If we move too fast, they'll panic and kill her." They hold off. To find Emilia, Martin goes undercover. With friends' help, he infiltrates the office of Pearl, a lawyer tied to the tech company, and steals data from his computer. Pearl catches him, but Martin escapes to the parking garage, losing him. Decoding the data, Martin finds emails tracking Emilia, one mentioning address 5227.
Right there, that address. 5227? That was the number of the lawyer's office. Bring that up.
5227. I don't understand. What does his office number have to do with anything?
He realizes 5227 is everywhere. Pearl's office, Jake's gaming console. At a building marked 5227, Lucy spots a figure resembling Emilia and chases. Martin follows, telling Jake to stay in the car. The building's full of aimless youths. No Emilia. The bald man from the motel attacks, knocking Martin out. Lucy finds a girl in a corner, thinking it's Emilia, but the girl flees, mistaking Lucy for a threat. The bald man aims a gun at Lucy, but Martin wakes and tackles him. Lucy realizes the girl isn't Emilia, just a lookalike. As the girl leaves, Martin spots a map in her bag, identical to one he's seen before. "Where'd you get this?" he asks. "A girl gave it to me this morning at the beach near the pier," she says. "She looked like me, blonde." Lucy's certain it's Emilia, but at the beach, she's gone. Jake draws a picture and hands it to a stranger, a woman who gasps, "Where'd you get this?" Jake stays silent, stealthily taking a letter from her bag. Back at their place, Lucy opens it. Money, a suicide note, and a drawing of a man. The woman plans to end her life. Lucy and Jake go to the address in the letter. The recipient, a Navy sailor, says the woman is his aunt, and the man in the drawing killed his mother 4 years ago during a trip. His aunt's been haunted ever since. He describes his mother, a genius scholar who predicted astronomical events without training, sketching unknown planets after days of silence, even forecasting a comet's orbit. Lucy shows him Jake's drawing. He's stunned.
That's it. The path of the Cornless Comet. How did you know that?
Oh, Jake here, he sees things too. Like your mom, like my daughter.
On active duty, he can't leave, begging Lucy to save his aunt. Lucy considers the Comet Observatory, where his aunt might end her life, tied to her sister's death. It's closed due to clouds. Jake types 1075 on a computer, while Emilia writes the same number on paper, as if connected. Lucy spots a woman on road 1075, standing in traffic, ready to die. Lucy pulls her back. It's the sailor's aunt. Devastated, she confesses, years ago, she met the killer in a bar, charmed by his talk of astronomy and dreams. At home, he turned violent. Her sister returned, and he stabbed her instead. Blaming herself, she planned to die. Lucy's calm reasoning helps her overcome the guilt to live on. The next day, Lucy finds a photo from Emilia's birthday 3 years ago. Among the crowd is the man from the drawing, the bakery killer, targeting Emilia. She's hooked to monitoring devices, a gaming console she won in front of her. A marble rolls randomly into holes. In a test, Emilia predicts every landing. Hole 1, 3, left, 4, 1, 6, 3 rounds, no mistakes. Her 91% accuracy beats the computer's 68%. Emilia outsmarted the machine. There are 36 people with extraordinary minds like Emilia, including Jake. Their enemy, Ortiz, dubbed the enemy of the 36, is a religious fanatic who believes those who see the world's connections defy God's will. He's sent to kill them to restore divine order. To find Jake, Ortiz confronts Avram, Jake's contact. Sensing danger, Avram lies about Jake's whereabouts. Avram tails him, sneaking into his hotel room, finding files on Jake, his next target. Martin, focused on helping Lucy find Emilia, doesn't know Jake's in danger. The tech company faked Emilia's death to keep her for experiments. Emilia vanished en route to Los Angeles. Martin, posing as a reporter, infiltrates the company, tricking a manager to steal Amelia's research data. Lucy takes the evidence to the police, but they dismiss her, citing Amelia's death certificate. Desperate, Lucy relies on Martin. They suspect Calvin, a former company consultant whose brother, William, has brain damage. To heal him, Calvin kidnapped Amelia, entrusting her to his mother, testing her brain to harness her abilities. Calvin's mother often took William for checkups. Amelia faked an illness to tag along, sneaking into an office to search coordinates 8877 in Los Angeles, a playground. Meanwhile, Jake, at a friend's house, bolts to the same playground, leaving his name and the number 29 on a gaming machine. Amelia arrives, sees his clue, and leaves her own. Martin gets word, finds their marks, and realizes they're close. He sends photos to Lucy, who rushes to the playground, spotting Jake under a street sign labeled 29. Nearby is Amelia. Lucy races toward her, screaming, "Amelia!" But Calvin's mother and son appear, snatching Amelia into a car. It's the closest Lucy's been to her daughter in 3 years, and the most heartbreaking. Furious, Lucy attacks Calvin, breaking his ribs. "Where's my daughter?" she yells. "Your pain now is nothing compared to my 3 years without her." Beaten bloody, Calvin stays silent. Lucy lands another blow, and he cracks. Amelia's in Los Angeles. But when Lucy's guard drops, Calvin breaks free, aiming a gun.
Now you can see your daughter today. But I need you to do something for me too.
"Want your daughter? Trade Jake." Desperate, Lucy agrees, secretly taking Jake to the exchange, hiding it from Martin. Friends tip Martin off, and he confronts her at the site.
I found Calvin. I got to him. He's bringing Amelia here, right here, in a couple of minutes.
So you're gonna trade my son for your daughter?
I would never do that, never!
Why couldn't you just let this play out through Jake? You had to do things your own way. He plays you!
Lucy, on the edge, denies it. Martin can't abandon her, so they wait for Calvin, who never shows, duping them both. Jake turns on the car radio, tuning through static.
Jake's been trying to find this radio signal all day. I think somehow if the signal's getting stronger, we're getting closer.
To what?
Hopefully your daughter.
They follow it to a neighborhood, spotting Calvin's mother's car. Inside, she's dead, and Amelia's gone. William, paralyzed for a decade, suddenly moves his eyes and speaks. What's happening? A medical miracle, thanks to Jake. Earlier, Jake wrote 0175 on the car window. Martin, alert, spots a vehicle with a hotline ending in 0175 and floors it in pursuit. The car stops at a mansion owned by Nicole, the tech company's CEO. Martin sees Calvin, holds him at gunpoint.
You also told me that you weren't working with Tony Rigby. What are you doing here? Tony Rigby murdered my mother, and he took Amelia. I would never work with Tony Rigby.
He only knows she's in one of the company's 83 labs across 7 countries, a needle in a haystack. At Calvin's house, he reveals his assistant betrayed him, leaking Amelia's location to Nicole. While the adults talk, Jake slips into Calvin's lab, puts on testing equipment, and flips the power switch. Martin realizes the experiment can't be stopped. Through the equipment, Jake's brain connects with Amelia in a mental realm.
We're coming for you.
I knew she didn't give me up.
Ask her where she is if there's
An address? A landmark?
We're in the desert. There's a water tower, and the building's old. I think they used it for other experiments. There's a sign. It says Teller Institute, established 1997.
Jake records the details, leaving data that helps Calvin revive his brother. Martin, Lucy, and Jake follow the clue to a desert. The research institute is closed but heavily guarded. Lucy plans to sneak in at night, but Jake screams.
Jake!
Guards hear and drive over. To protect Lucy and Jake, Martin pretends their car broke down, asking for help. The guards lock him in the lab. Martin yells he's just fixing a car. Innocent. Calvin's assistant, guilty for betraying him, sneaks in, revealing Amelia's location. Martin and the assistant free her. Meanwhile, Jake and Lucy infiltrate. Working together, they throw the lab into chaos and escape. Lucy and Amelia reunite. To evade Nicole, the tech company's CEO, Martin and Lucy split up. Lucy takes Amelia to a distant hideout, but Nicole's men catch up. Lucy lets Amelia flee, staying to fight.
Where's the girl?
What girl?
Look, I don't know who the hell you are.
I'm her mother.
Amelia runs up a mountain, but a gunshot rings out. Lucy dies, separated from her daughter forever. Martin learns of Luce's death, devastated. Amelia, having escaped, finds Jake, sensing Ortiz, the enemy of the 36, is hunting them. "He's after us, Jake. We have to stop him." Ortiz searches for Jake, but Martin's protection keeps him safe. Ortiz targets Nell, an archaeologist packing for a trip. Jake senses danger, writes numbers pinpointing Nell's airport, and boards a bus with Amelia, hiding from Martin. They find Nell's antique crate and luggage, stowing away in a transport truck to her university. Martin, tracking Ortiz, reaches his hotel but finds him gone. Avram calls. Jake and Amelia are missing.
"I just turned around for 1 minute and they took off. I've searched every inch of this area. They must have followed the crate. It had Jake's numbers on it."
Wait. I think I know where they're gone.
"You do?"
Yes, the university.
Martin races to the university. Ortiz stalks Nell, pinning a knife to her throat when she's distracted. Jake, mute, projects thoughts to Ortiz.
She's not the one.
Nell escapes, warning Martin someone tried to kill her. Martin knows it's Ortiz, alerts police, and tackles him upstairs. After a struggle, Martin overpowers him. Ortiz, failing his mission, kills himself as police sirens wail. Jake's safe, but new danger looms. Calvin, with his brother's health fluctuating, is lured back by Nicole for more experiments on Jake and Amelia. At a market, Jake trembles, clutching a pole. Martin, worried, checks on him. A man at a market corner, hands shaking, drops his coffee. Amelia says they're going to die. Martin's stunned. Jake can predict death, convulses, and dies before an ambulance arrives. This makes him a bigger target for the company. Nicole, obsessed with data, disregards lives, even letting subjects die. Calvin, originally wanting to save his brother, grows uneasy with her callousness. Martin plans to flee with Jake and Amelia, but Amelia senses a disaster. It's here. A planned attack nearly kills Martin. Jake and Amelia are taken by Nicole's men. Martin wakes in a hospital, asking for Jake. The doctor says he was alone in the car. Injured, Martin leaves to find his son. Jake and Amelia are locked in a secret, heavily guarded lab. Nicole underestimates their brilliance. Amelia signals Jake, "Ready, go." Jake fakes seizures on the lab table. Amelia screams for help, luring a worker in. She jams the door with a toy car, and they slip out. They run into Calvin, whose conscience kicks in, offering to help them escape. Blocked, he returns them to the lab. Martin contacts a police friend, kidnaps Nicole's subordinate, and punches him until he talks.
"I gave him to Farrington, Pier 17, San Pedro, next to a tanker."
Martin speeds there. Jake and Amelia are strapped to lab tables. Amelia, in agony from intensified tests, fades from their mental world. Martin bursts in, shoots the lab tech, and stops the experiment. Jake wakes, but Amelia's unconscious. Calvin injects her, reviving her. Nicole calls the board chairman to resume tests, but he cuts her off to save himself. Police arrest Nicole for murder. The danger ends. Jake and Martin prepare for a new journey. Here is the complete summary of Touch. What do you think of the show? How would you rate it out of 10? Please share your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you for your interest and support. Goodbye and see you again.